Good evening, Tenthut. It is Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. For you guys that have been watching our show and then subscribing to our show, thank you so much. A drink to that. It is the Tenthut Show. Cheers. With a side of whiskey. Or bourbon, right? For some of you guys, bourbon. Today we have a special guest. Is a good friend of ours, Salvador Hernandez. A little background about himself. He's a Navy veteran, and he's also an entrepreneur. He is killing it with his whole landscape business. He's been on TV. Is at HGTV. Since I saw him on one of his videos, I was like, damn, this guy is really doing a lot of good work. So, man, I'm just gonna pass the floor to you, and just tell the audience who you are and what kind of advice you have for vets looking to go into entrepreneurship. And anything else that you think that helped you transition from the military to the entrepreneurship world?
So I didn't get into this the business until like a couple years after I got out. Like anyone else, like most of the other vets that got out, we went to school first. Went through, a bachelor program or whatnot. I started my business out of desperation, man. When you get out and you really don't know what you're going to do, so it was more out of desperation. So I went back to what I knew, with my dad. Like my dad was a gardener, and he's been gardening in Huntington Beach for forever, and I grew up on that. So I just decided to take that and take it to the next level and got licensed and became a landscape contractor. And then from there, man, it's just took off and to where I'm at now. It's been a lot of hard work. It's not easy, every time you grow, there's a different type of obstacle, but it's adapting and overcoming, man. We're trained for that. So that's really what it is.
Well, you mentioned a little bit about school. So you got your undergrad from, where'd you go to school?
I went to the University of Phoenix. I got my bachelor's and I got my master's at Phoenix. Okay. And in fact, when I started my business, I was also going through my master's program. So I was in the beginning of my business, I was growing my business and going to school at the same time. So I was kind of juggling both,
So did at the beginning, just for a little bit of context, I know that a lot of veterans like us, you mentioned that we go into school right after the military, but some of us just do it so that we get that money. Yeah, get that money. Get that money.
So about that. That was my bachelor program. So my bachelor program was just about the money. It wasn't until I actually went through the master's program that I actually started to pay attention and I was more engaged with the school because it applied to me. It actually applied to me. Everything that I learned in my master's program, like I now apply it in my business. So it is applicable. So
you have an MBA like Jose and I, right?
Yeah, it's MBA with emphasis in marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So mine was an MBA with an emphasis in marketing and finance. That's, from University of Maryland.
Yeah. So real quick, Sal, like a lot of veterans ask about the MBA program, and as far as for me, when they ask me, hey, is it worth it? To me, an MBA applies to anything. As a matter of fact, a lot of schools now are doing JD, Juris Doctors for lawyers with a 1 year added for an MBA, and then also MDs, medical doctors with 1 year extra to get the MBA. For me, I mean, it's been really great, and to be able to know how businesses function, how money moves in reality. I mean, like the different aspects of a corporation or a company. But how do you find it? What do you apply? How do you apply your MBA? for other
The
veterans
truth-
that are listening?
The truth is, education never stops. I never stop learning. It doesn't matter where you go to school at, man. In my opinion, this is my opinion. It doesn't matter where you go to school at. At the end of the day, it's how you apply yourself. If you like we said, right, we're doing it for the money. If you go in there doing it for the money and just flying by through your courses and stuff, then of course, man, you're not gonna learn and you're not gonna take anything out of it, and that's not gonna be applicable. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean anything,
Yeah, it doesn't guarantee you a job. It definitely, a lot of us, when we got to fucking sign up for basket weaving and some stupid shit like that, just to collect that money. But that's why I wanted to ask the question, because it creates relatability with our audience. That even if you are struggling, even if you're going through the shit and the transitioning, coming out of it, like you can still be successful. What we want to do is create that awareness that if you are going to school just to collect that paycheck, like you could stop now, because it's not going to get you a guaranteed job at the end of it.
Just go work for someone, man, until you actually decide what you want to go to school for. But to be honest, I personally never thought the business degree was going to be the route I wanted to go, But like Will said is like an MBA is applicable in any industry across the board. It doesn't matter, because business is business, regardless of whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a for-profit, whether it is what it is. Everything is structured the same way, man, and it has the same cycle, it's the same cycle. So, like, for example, the technical stuff of my industry, I actually went back to community college to learn a lot of this crap, So after I got my master's, I started my business. I ran with my business, and then like the stuff that I didn't know, like for example, I didn't know how to build walls or pour concrete.
Did you say build walls, bro? Okay.
Did you say wall?
Yeah.
So you're the contractor.
I was hoping to land that contract, guys. I was really hoping to land that contract.
Yeah,
but,
you're like, hey, Trump, I'm here, man. I'll build you a wall.
You know how to build walls.
You said the Mexicans would build it out here. I'm here.
Sign me up. But you know what I mean, though. So, like all the technical stuff regarding my business, like paver installation, landscape design, all that, I went back to community college just to nitpick and I nitpicked it in the topics that I wanted this time. I knew going back what I needed to be able to grow as a landscape contractor. So, like I said, never stop learning. One advice that I could give is read. Keep reading, man. Reading is key.
Depending on what kind of reading, because don't just be reading some magazines and
technical reading.
Business reading. I know, like for you, Sal, I've always see you, posting things on Instagram. You put on like Rich Dad Poor Dad, anything that has to do with business, anything about expanding your mind, positive things. Those are the things that we definitely recommend. I love sales, so I read books, anything that has to do with sales. I read the book from Jordan Belfort, his thing, many others, right? So it's important to kind of narrow your niche, right? That's what you learn in marketing. Narrow your niche. What is it you want to learn? What is it that you want to improve on? And then just start looking at those books, right? And there's plenty of great information out there.
There is. Like I'm constantly reading. Like I've read probably the Rich Dad Poor Dad trilogy. The cash flow quadrant book, and then the tax-free wealth book that his advisor wrote. But I'm constantly reading. I'm always like, what's the next book? What's the next book? Because like I said, man, you never stop learning, and then it just opens more doors for you. With my business, I'm able now to invest in stocks. I'm able to invest in real estate. I've been able to do these things because I'm constantly growing my business. I'm constantly learning new things, and I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. Well, let me drop some money on the stock market. So
Right.
Yeah, man. So it's constantly growing.
One thing that you do for everyone who's else watching this, keep this in mind. Not only just your example, you're reading, you're learning, you're implementing.
Right.
Don't just read and just keep reading, and then hopefully something will happen, right? So
take action.
Yeah, take action.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
That book right there. Give me that book.
One of the things that I learned while I was going through school, because I went through, I actually started my PhD for finance and stuff like that. But you're not going to learn everything you need to know for that particular industry. Like us, we have an MBA. It doesn't mean that we learn everything that we need to know about starting a business, about running a business, about accounting, about finance. No, but it gives you enough. Yeah, it gives you enough foundation to build on. Like Sal said, is you start building on that because you're continuously learning. So for those that are listening, don't think that you're going to school to learn everything that you need to know about that particular industry. No, you got to continuously fucking learn, man.
Yeah, I don't know everything, but the good thing about having the education is that what school has actually taught me, in my opinion, has been knowing how to be resourceful. In a sense, school trains you to be resourceful. Let's say, for example, right? I'm gonna give you a scenario. My stocks. I'm not managing my stocks. I hired someone to do my stock portfolio for me, so I don't have to be an expert on that. I just have to hire the expert. Like my accounting stuff, like all my books and everything regarding my accounting for my business. I hire a CPA, I hire a bookkeeper, that stuff that as long as I understand the gist of it and where my money's going,
that's the thing. Just so that somebody doesn't run a freaking pull the rug from under you. Just know the gist, especially when it comes to your money.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Sal, that you might not know everything, but I guarantee you that you know a billion times more than somebody just graduating with their MBA. So don't sell yourself short, sir.
But I think what Sal is talking about, though, you know a little bit of everything, especially with an MBA. You go through an accounting course. It's not like you don't.
Yeah.
But it gets to a certain point where you can't manage everything, and that's where people fail. Is that they try to overwhelm themselves.
Yeah.
And immerse themselves in everything that has to do with the business. Even, for instance, Trisha Trimble, I'll mention her. She owns her business, and she's a certified CPA. I actually worked for the top 4, and she still, when she deals with her company, she rather hire another CPA to handle all her accounting because she wants to focus on her business.
Right.
So same thing like Sal is talking about. I mean, we go through accounting. In our MBA, part of our curriculum is accounting.
Yeah.
But it's just you can't do everything. And a lot of people try to.
And I think I want to add something what Will said. And I noticed with your business out, and your example is that many people I've come across is that they're trying to wear multiple hats, right? And that's when they're not able to expand, they're not able to grow their business, and they tend to lose people because there's no momentum going, right? And then just like you mentioned, right, just you learn just enough, right? You learn just enough to know how to defend yourself if someone else is trying to take advantage of you. Right. And then you just hire them, right? Like, here, you need to do this. I'm the checks and balances, right? So
I think I can make the argument that holding a business degree, whether it's your undergrad or your master's, holding a business degree is probably one of the most critical thinking degrees that you can possibly get. I can argue probably that just because you have to wear so many hats. You're learning about accounting, you learn about marketing, you're learning about finance, you learn, so you constantly have to shift those hats.
Yeah.
When in other specialties, it's like a very focused specialty, and this is all you very narrow area of study. So
yeah. And when you talk about the wearing the multiple hats, and most of us sitting right in here right now are in executive leadership type positions. So it comes to the delegating of certain things to make sure that your organization runs properly, right? Not that you're just overwhelming yourself. I mean, it's easy if we can be, copy ourselves and have a bunch of
Start cloning
it's
myself.
coming though. It's coming.
Yeah.
But you just can't. You have to, as a good leader, as a person that's developing as a leader, you have to be able to delegate work. You have to be able to make sure that everybody, is getting involved. And I know Sal's always reaching out for employees, and people just don't. It's hard. It's hard to find people that know what they're doing or even want to do what you're throwing out there. But
I'll put you on the spotlight right now. So because with the current economy, what's going on with COVID and things like that, are you hiring right now for our audience?
So I was hiring, actually. We actually found a couple guys to help out, but my goal is to help out other vets, preferably the guys that are going to school in the evening and want to work during the day. Like that's my goal, is to help other vets out. And, I'm always looking to give that an opportunity. But at the time, like we're at full capacity,
But it's good to hear. I mean, I know that, this pandemic happened back in
March.
February, March.
End of February.
And you still managed to hire, so it was,
Yeah, for the construction industry, man, it's been great. COVID,
it's been booming.
It's been booming. Yeah, it's supposed to be my slow season, and it hasn't been slow. We're booked all the way till March already, on projects. A little bit of background of what we do is we're landscape design and build, right? So we take we do mid to higher end residential landscapes. So that's pools, patio covers, barbecues, paver, you name it, whatever, an entire renovation.
I might have a job for you.
Huh?
I'm gonna have to get on that list. I might have a job for you for barbecue and a pool.
There you go. So so our projects usually last anywhere between a couple weeks to even a few months, So anyways, so we're doing good, man. Like even though the economy hit for the construction industry, it was really, really good, So.
You know what's funny is when you talk about growth, and I know Sal, I've known Sal for a little while, and we were talking about something. He showed me this drawing, and I started laughing. I know CAD, right, a little bit from my construction background, and he showed me this drawing a while back, and I kind of started laughing, and he said, "Nah, I'm gonna get this." And like now, I've seen your drawings. If you go to your website, Pacific Breeze Landscape, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's literally, and then when you're talking about development and growth internally, man, I mean, you got to go check it out, pacificbreezelandscape.com, and see this guy's drawings. Like, I mean, he's just come a long, long way from etch and sketch, draw on a piece of paper. Something that's he's like, I'm done. Yeah. But it's amazing. It's amazing how you got from one place to another and to grow your company like that.
It's constant growth, man. It's constant growth. It's what's the next step? What how can I improve this? And you just keep moving up, the next better thing,
And that's great. It's a great example because I've seen you as well, scale your business, and I remember you coming out with the drones too. And that's a great example for anyone who's going to business. For you vets out there, do not stick to that mindset where I'm just going to stick to this. I'm not looking to add anything more or whatever, because you never know what can happen. Like with the pandemic, a lot of businesses have closed shop. But you always want to, that's the reason why you want to be always going with the trend, right? What is that I can do to provide better customer service, for the clients that I'm serving or future clients. And you have done amazing work, man.
It's actually one of the core concepts of business. It's that you got to diversify it, not only your business but yourself too. Like you can't just put all your eggs in one basket, because some shit like this happens, and then boom, you. But it applies. I like it that it applies to everything, your life, because if like for veterans transitioning out of the military, if you focus only on one relationship, your girlfriend and wife or whatever it is, and that happens to fail, you'd have no other relationships to fall back on. So, I like that it applies to everything. So diversify your assets, your emotional assets, your portfolio and things like that. So yeah.
What I like to say is that, a lot of veterans probably don't know this, but they're already we're already set up with the entrepreneurial mindset. Becoming an entrepreneur was not that hard. And the good thing is that the way that I structured my business and I systemized my business was very like, dumb it down. Let's dumb everything down, right? Let's tailor-proof this, like, and that's what system is, like systemizing your business. That's what it is, man. It's following a step-by-step guide, on your processes and how to do it's SOPs, man.
Yeah.
And SOPs,
standard operating procedures.
Yep.
And keep it simple, stupid.
Dude, seriously, simple, stupid, man. Like the program that I started using,
down, Barney style.
That program that I started using, it ain't like, the program does a lot, so it helps me, look good, but it's really all the program, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm still sketching my shit, looking like crap, but now I just sketch. Huh?
We should make him a patch, right? Like it says Etch a Sketch, and then just have him wear that patch.
Oh,
there you go.
I think you should get new shirts for your company that have a little Etch a Sketch patch.
Etch a Sketch landscape. We got you.
Etch a Sketch landscape. That's
hey, I'm gonna give a shout out. We got 2 young adults that like to watch our show. They probably like the craziness. I don't know. Hopefully one day they decide to either join the military or get some life knowledge from this. But it's Zachary and Mackenzie. Somebody stopped me and they said, "Hey, my kids watch your show a lot." And that's pretty awesome that people are like, kids are that influenced to look at what veterans are going through. So
the best advice you can give: do not talk to a recruiter. Talk to one of the veterans. They will tell you. And if you want to join the military, we'll direct you the right path. Right?
Just not Navy. Don't go Navy.
All right. We gotta say no. Don't go Coast Guard.
Well, no. Don't go Coast Guard. That's it. Don't go Coast Guard.
Don't go Coast Guard. Yeah, don't go Coast Guard.
No one thinks you're a vet.
No, man.
3 years down the road, soon we're gonna see someone from the Space Force.
Dude,
that's what we got. You know what? Next, let me try to find one of my old students that transferred over to Space Force, and I want them to talk about this. It'll probably actually be a good topic, right?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a couple decades, dude. When they come back and they're like, "Oh yeah, remember that deployment we did over in the
Mars?"
Yeah, they went back to the desert. They went to the desert.
Yeah, it's gonna look all of our deployments like pieces of shit. They're like, you just ain't.
Where'd you go? Iraq? You went to Iraq?
So Space Force is Space Force gonna be under DoD or are they gonna be NASA?
Yes. No, they're DoD.
But I'm sure they're gonna be working with NASA though, right?
Space Force is Air Force Space Command. So it used to be Air Force Space Command. Space Command is gone.
Yeah.
Or it's not gone completely yet. It's still transferring, but it's Space Force, and what Space Command used to do.
What is the slogan? Like to infinity and beyond?
So what Space Force is doing is pretty much taking all of the warfare space aspects out of the Air Force, because I mean, it's not something classified or anything. Like you watch Transformers and they show these satellites that are doing all kinds of stuff, things that are being tracked, a lot of
classified stuff you can't talk about. Got it.
Yeah. So Space Force is now what used to be Space Command, and it's a separation from the Air Force. That's all it is. It's not. They will work with NASA, and they are working with SpaceX, but it's more about transport. Kind of like the Marines depend on the Navy to get where they need to go. Right. It's kind of the same concept, except the Marines are part of the Navy. If people didn't know that, so
yeah, but don't tell a Marine, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like we need to invite a Marine up in this.
We need to invite we need to have all five branches.
Yeah,
all five branches.
You should invite Marcos, bro. Marcos, man, I'm live, huh? So never mind. I won't touch that.
He's gonna see this. He's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
But so one aside, so let's talk a little bit about as far as real estate, because I know last time we talked, I know for a fact that you have a and you put it on Facebook, you have an Airbnb. Tell us a little bit about what you did, and for other veterans to know what can they do with their VA loan.
So the plan was that I was supposed to move to my cabin, right? Because VA loan's the primary residence. So primary residence.
For a year. It's only for a year.
For a year, dude. For a year.
One year you gotta live there.
That's done. I completed my year. So actually, what I did was I bought my cabin. I qualified because I'm an entrepreneur and I could work from anywhere, right? That's the benefit about being an entrepreneur, is that you have that flexibility, and you get a lot of tax benefits, man. A lot of benefits, period, being an entrepreneur. So back to the Airbnb. I bought my house 2 years ago. My wife and I, we would go up there and spend the weekends, or sometimes go up there during the week, and hang out and just be up there. I could work from up there. And lately I just the Airbnb picked up, so I've been Airbnb-ing it, so it's additional cash flow. To be honest, I make a little bit. I make a little bit of money, but I mostly break even, and that's due to the fact that when you get a VA loan, you're zero down, Yeah. So I didn't have to put anything down. But now I'm getting ready to sell my cabin, and I'm gonna make a good amount, So what I wanted to share was that I was able to multiply my money with no money, So the gains from that property, I'm gonna split that, whatever. Well, I'm gonna split that into two, and I'm gonna buy 2 other properties.
I'm gonna post this right now. So this is from Jeremy. Remember Jeremy, guys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, Martinez.
Marine.
I don't want to hear about what you did with the VA loan. But yeah, we need to get Jeremy up in this too. But it's great. I mean, that's there's a lot of methods. Like I thought we talked about this before on a different show, Jose, and well, many veterans are using the Burr method, but there's so many benefits. Even if you don't want to use it as an investment, you can use, zero down. And if you're a veteran that have 100% disability, and at least in the state of California, you don't get your full, what is called property tax property, away, but at least a percentage goes down. So that's a perk.
Yeah.
So there's several benefits to being your disability. If you're 100%, let's say in the state of Texas, for example,
100%.
100% disabled veterans, you don't have to pay state tax, on your primary residence.
Primary residence.
Property tax.
Property tax, yeah.
You don't have to pay property tax. You don't pay income tax in Texas.
You don't pay income tax in Texas either. So
Yeah.
So
What am I doing here?
I don't know.
dude,
it might be a good idea to leave.
Yeah.
That's good. I have a property in Texas. I have property in Tucson and the property that I own here. And I'll tell you what, I'm not selling right now because the market's gonna go up and then it's gonna go down and then it's gonna go straight up past what it's at right now. So for me, the big advice I always tell people is, look, if you're renting right now, then most likely your mortgage around the area that you're renting is going to be around the same price. But after 10 years is where you see the difference, because after 10 years, all of the rent has gone up, but your mortgage has stayed the same, right? So say I'm renting, and I'm going to go lowball, I know, for California. I'm renting for $2,000, right? An apartment or whatever, 2-bedroom or a house or something for $2,000. But I buy a house for $2,000. I'm paying, or maybe even $2,500. So I'm a little higher with my mortgage. Eventually, that rent is going to go up to $3,000-$4,000. I mean, it's not going to go down, that you were paying. Whereas your mortgage is going to stay the same because you're locked in on a fixed rate, interest and all that stuff. Anything that's going to raise is probably going to be more of your insurance might go up, but that only increases slightly, not enough to make a difference to catch up to the rate that rents are going for. So I always tell people, look, if you're going to invest in property, especially if you have kids, everybody talks about that old money, right? Old money comes from real estate, real property, assets, valuable assets. You buying a brand new car is not an asset. That's just trash. It's literally gonna be. It's all trash. It's a means for you to get to and from. If you want to go fancy and you have the means to buy something fancy, hey, knock yourself out. But that's not an asset. That's not something that is considered something that's attainable, an actual asset. So if you buy a house, stay in it. And, if you have kids, eventually your kids will get that money, from your house. Either they refinance it to start their own business or they sell it all together to buy something bigger. But at the end of the day, you're giving them that big chunk of change, Houses here in California start off at about, here in Orange County or Los Angeles start off at about $400,000 at the lowest, but the average cost is about $700,000 to $800,000, right?
Yeah.
So you have to consider that those same houses were purchased, 20 years ago, for $200,000. Those same houses were purchased for $150,000. And now they're that much. If somebody holds on to that stuff, that is just asset, just money that's sitting there. When eventually in 20 years, $800,000 home will be worth about $1,800,000, $2 million, based on the way that growth has been going up throughout the years. So I know I private message Sal, don't sell, but you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to move money around. You got to move property around. I definitely understand that in business.
To his point, I understand what he's saying about not selling, and in certain situations, he's right. But the reality is, when you do, from what I've read, and what I've been studying, is that you want to go into real estate for the cash flow, not for the appreciation. So there's two different things, right? I happen to appreciate on my property because the market is so good. So and the cash flows was not that great. So what I wanted to do is, the reason I'm selling is because I'm going to take that amount and I'm going to put my 25% down on 2 properties out of state. So then therefore, when you put your 25% down, your cash flows are going to be, solid and a lot better. you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's the reason why I'm selling, Will.
That makes sense.
No, and like I said, you sometimes got to move money around to
Yeah.
grow. To grow.
Yeah.
If you don't invest, if you don't make moves, sometimes you lose that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I totally get it. What was that house in because you're in Big Bear, right?
And Green Valley Lake. Yeah.
Okay, so close
Yeah.
to Big Bear, right?
Yeah. It's in the way. It's on the way. Yeah.
Closer to Lake Arrowhead, I think.
It's
Yeah, I think-
it's in between. It's in between. It's like at the.
Right
It's
in the
weird. They're all on top of the mountain, and it just like depends which way you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. One thing I'm going to shift conversation real quick. I just want to say to everyone that yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Today's the 3rd, right?
Yes.
Today's the 3rd. Yeah, yesterday was Jose's birthday.
Oh.
It just popped in my mind. So happy late birthday. He doesn't like it when people give him a shout out. I mean, that's fine. I don't care. I'm over here.
Hey. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, man. He's getting older now. He's getting what you told me, ARP now? Qualify for ARP?
Yeah, I qualify for ARP. Shut the fuck up.
Man, you know what? They've been sending me the ARP. It's probably they saw my VA records and were like, man, this guy's got to be in his 60s, with that body, with that busted body.
Yeah. Sal, so another question I have is, I'm pretty sure you've gone, Will, you and Jose, we all have gone better in saying, I want to get into business, but I don't know what to do. What is the advice you can give for some of those questions?
All right. Find something that you love to do, man. I've been in business for 4 years and going on 5, and it doesn't feel like I am working, dude. It's just there's times where I look forward to go to work, man, the next day. And I want to say I have a team that does too. Like my team likes to go to work. So find something that you like to do. Make it fun, man.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
So
that's true. I mean, if you're gonna get up in the morning, I know it's a lot. This is everyone. Like if you're working at a job, Monday morning comes in and like, oh damn, I gotta get up. I gotta get in traffic. Sit in traffic and But it's always that even if you're not even an entrepreneur or you're not getting into business, but if you align yourself with a job that you really enjoy doing, you don't mind. You don't have to worry about it. So
yeah. I like what I do, man.
Yeah,
I like what I do.
But I'm sure it's work still, right? You can enjoy it and everything, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah. And by the way, I wake up early in the morning, but not to go to work. I surf first in the morning and then I go to work. But surfing comes first.
Talking about that, Sal, one thing that I want to bring up is that like learning balance we so focus all the time on work, all the time, nothing but work. And we forget about ourselves. We forget about what we love to do. Why do we even go to work?
Yeah.
And you're talking about,
come on, man.
we're talking about, the balance between, having your work life and then your hobby to be able to satisfy the need of yourself, the pleasure. So how do you do it? How do you manage your hobby? How do you manage that?
Well, it goes back to delegating. You delegate the duties that come in the morning. My business I partnered up with another vet, and he's the one that manages the operations. So he handles all that, and I handle all the stuff that has to do with accounting, administrative, working on the. I work on the business. He works he works within the business. So that's the goal. The goal is to be able to get to that point so you can have that work-life balance, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a topic that we should talk about all the time. And
yeah,
you know, because that's something that many vets, like all of us, right? We always got used to that, just grind, and push yourself and forget about yourself. And then what happens as you get older, you start feeling pain, more pain, and more pain,
more
and then
pain, more pain. And
you
then
know,
pills, and then opiates that they give you, and then you're stuck on those, and then they give you all these other pills that make you sick to your stomach. We know about that.
Yeah, definitely. But Sal, I want to say thank you so much, man, for Jose, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say like compounded fucking pain and like masking everything anyways, but
forever. Yeah. But Sal, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And you know, it's been great connecting with you over the Tenthut Show. And I'm pretty sure whoever's watching this, I know you guys are gonna get a lot of what's it called, advice from what Sal has been saying. And for you guys that are looking to get into the military, you know, just reach out to us. Don't reach out to a recruiter first. Reach out to us. We are honest. We have the experience.
They get paid to lie.
They get paid to lie. Yes,
Yeah,
that is their paycheck comes from recruiting.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
For whatever means.
Yeah. And for those that have been watching, again, just watching our show every Thursday, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, the Tenthut on YouTube. The more subscribers we have, the better it is for us. The more we're looking to. Okay, hold on. I got caught up right there. So I know who is this. This is Jeremy, because he was a recruiter, right? Were you a recruiter, Jeremy? Say yes or no.
Is it online?
That's false news. Fake news.
Yeah, but
you're not a recruiter anymore.
The more we get subscribers on the YouTube channel, the better. We are expanding this through the entire Southern California and eventually the entire state of California. So guys, thank you so much. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
Later, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.